Right now, hundreds of miles above our planet, a telescope is looking deeper into space than ever before. What it's finding is so strange that scientists are questioning everything they thought they knew. Galaxies that seem too old for their age, black holes that grow far too quickly, stars forming in impossible places, and even planets with atmospheres that should not exist. Each new discovery adds another mystery. In this video, we'll take a journey through 8 of the most shocking revelations from this telescope. And if you want more tips like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Imagine the universe just a few 100 million years after the Big Bang. At that stage, scientists thought space was still dark and quiet, filled with only small baby galaxies barely beginning to shine. But when this telescope looked back that far, it revealed something completely unexpected. Instead of fragile young galaxies, it saw giant ones already spinning with billions of mature stars. These cosmic monsters were larger than the Milky Way, even though the universe itself was only around 3% of its current age. To understand how strange that is, think of planting an acorn yesterday and waking up today to find a fully grown oak tree. According to physics, galaxies should grow slowly over billions of years through countless star births and mergers. But these massive galaxies seem to appear instantly, skipping every step of the normal timeline. Scientists were shocked. How could galaxies so large exist when there simply wasn't enough time for them to grow? Some experts now think dark matter must act differently than expected. Others suggest gravity itself behaved in new ways in the early universe. A few even propose that black holes were involved from the very start, acting as seeds for these galaxies. The discovery becomes even stranger because it wasn't just one or two galaxies. There were dozens of them scattered across the early universe. That means this wasn't rare at all. These early giants also showed chemical elements that shouldn't have formed yet, like carbon and oxygen. Normally, such elements take generations of stars to produce. Yet here they were, fully present. This forces us to consider something unsettling. Maybe time, gravity, and cosmic evolution work completely differently during the universe's earliest moments. Now imagine looking at regions of space where stars are supposed to form. Normally, stars are born inside cold clouds of gas and dust, slowly compressed by gravity over millions of years until nuclear fusion begins. That's what textbooks say. But the telescope has shown us something completely different. Stars are appearing in places that should destroy them instantly. For example, inside the violent remains of exploded stars, where the heat reaches millions of degrees and radiation is blasting everything apart, new stars are forming. That's like watching delicate flowers bloom inside a raging fire. Even stranger, these stars are forming in just a few thousand years instead of millions. They seem to be skipping steps, going straight from clouds of gas into fully burning stars almost overnight on cosmic timescales. Researchers also discovered that these new stars are not simple. Some already contain heavy elements that should only exist after many cycles of star birth and death. This suggests the universe was producing advanced materials much earlier than thought. Even more puzzling is how these stars behave. Some are far brighter and hotter than their mass allows. In other words, small stars are acting like giant ones. They are releasing energy levels that break the rules of physics we know. Scientists are left with wild ideas to explain this. Could these stars be interacting with invisible dark matter? Or could they be forming through some unknown process we've never seen? One radical idea is that matter itself might sometimes skip the usual steps by tunneling through physical barriers, creating stars almost instantly. If that's true, it means the birth of stars, the most basic building blocks of the cosmos, is far stranger and more flexible than anyone imagined. Let's move to planets, the worlds that circle stars. We're used to thinking of planets as places like Earth, Mars, or Jupiter, formed under stable, predictable rules. But what the telescope is showing us is very different. One planet, only about 50 light-years away, has an atmosphere that simply should not exist. It contains oxygen levels higher than Earth, nitrogen in impossible amounts, and even clouds of water vapor where physics says they cannot survive. To make things stranger, this world orbits so close to its star that it should be scorched and lifeless. Yet somehow, it maintains thick clouds and complex weather systems. The most shocking part: the telescope detected traces of chemicals in its air that, on Earth, only come from industrial processes. If this reading is correct, it could mean there's activity happening on that planet that we can't yet explain, maybe even artificial. And this isn't just one planet. Around 30% of rocky planets observed so far show atmospheres that don't make sense. Some even contain substances like metallic hydrogen floating as gas when it should only exist as liquid under crushing pressure. Others have storm systems lasting for years, producing lightning so intense it's visible from light years away. Even more mysterious, some planets' atmospheres appear to change in sync with others light years apart. Imagine two worlds separated by vast distances, yet their skies shift together almost as if linked. This leads to strange possibilities. Are these worlds being modified somehow? Or is there an unknown law of planetary chemistry at play? Either way, the discovery suggests planets are not just passive rocks. Some may be active, dynamic, and possibly shaped by forces we don't yet understand. Now, let's turn to the strangest objects in the universe: black holes. These are regions of space where gravity is so strong that not even light can escape. According to physics, black holes form from collapsing stars, and then they slowly grow by pulling in matter over billions of years. But what this telescope has found makes no sense at all. Deep in the early universe, when everything was still very young, astronomers discovered black holes that were already enormous. Some of them were millions, even billions, of times the mass of our sun. The problem is, there simply wasn't enough time for them to grow that big. According to the laws of physics, it should take billions of years of steady feeding for a black hole to reach that size. Yet these giants were already fully formed when the universe was only a few 100 million years old. Think of it like finding a full-grown mountain overnight, when there should have only been small piles of pebbles. Something about the timeline just doesn't add up. And it doesn't stop there. These black holes don't just break the rules of growth. They also behave in ways no one expected. For example, some of them seem to talk to each other. When one black hole suddenly changes its energy output, another far across space responds almost instantly. That would require communication faster than the speed of light, which according to Einstein is impossible. Others give off strange signals that don't match any natural process we know. Their X-ray emissions suggest they are tapping into sources of power beyond the simple conversion of matter into energy. Some scientists even wonder if these black holes could be connected to other dimensions, acting like doors to places where the laws of physics are different. Even their effect on galaxies is bizarre. Normally, a black hole shapes its host galaxy over long stretches of time. But in these early cases, galaxies seem to form around their black holes almost instantly, as if the black hole was the architect rather than the byproduct. These discoveries force us to ask uncomfortable questions. Did black holes exist before galaxies? Could they have been present from the very birth of the universe itself? Or are they showing us physics that belongs to a deeper reality we haven't discovered yet? One thing is certain: black holes are not just destructive monsters. They may be key players in shaping the universe, and perhaps even clues to mysteries far beyond our current understanding. When we think about the ingredients of the universe, we usually imagine a simple recipe: hydrogen, helium, and a little lithium in the beginning. Then, as stars live and die, heavier elements like carbon, oxygen, gold, and uranium are slowly forged over billions of years. That's the standard story. But what the telescope has uncovered is rewriting that timeline completely. In galaxies that formed only a few 100 million years after the Big Bang, scientists are finding heavy elements that simply should not be there. Imagine walking into a newly built house and finding antiques that are thousands of years old sitting in the living room. That's how strange this discovery is. Elements like gold and platinum are supposed to come from rare events such as the collision of neutron stars or massive supernova explosions. But in the early universe, there wasn't enough time for such processes to happen. Yet, these galaxies are loaded with heavy elements in shocking amounts. Even more puzzling, the ratios of isotopes, the variations of each element, don't match any known natural process. It's as if these elements were manufactured by something we've never seen before. Some of the strangest finds include unstable elements like technetium, which decays away in just a few million years. Yet we're detecting it in galaxies that are billions of years old. That should be impossible unless there's some ongoing process continually creating it. This raises the question, is there some unknown cosmic machine producing heavy elements? Or are the laws of nuclear physics different in ways we don't yet understand? Adding to the mystery, the distribution of these elements isn't random. They appear in neat patterns, almost as if following a mathematical formula. Instead of being scattered chaotically, certain galaxies show ratios that look deliberate, like someone arranged them on purpose. Scientists are baffled. Some suggest that the early universe may have had phases of physics that no longer exist today, allowing rapid creation of complex elements. Others speculate about connections to parallel universes, where matter could move between dimensions and bring exotic materials with it. But the most unsettling possibility is that these patterns are signs of design, that something in the deep past may have been shaping matter itself. No matter the explanation, one thing is clear: the early universe wasn't as primitive as we believed. It already contained the advanced building blocks needed for planets, life, and maybe even civilizations. The cosmic story is far more complicated, and perhaps more intentional, than we ever imagined. Light is one of the most basic things in the universe. It travels at the fastest speed possible, and it carries information from the past straight into our eyes and telescopes. By studying ancient light, we can learn what the universe looked like billions of years ago. But the telescope has revealed that even light itself is behaving in ways that seem impossible. Billions of light years away, astronomers have found ancient starlight carrying chemical signatures that should not exist at such an early stage of the cosmos. According to science, the first stars should have been made only of hydrogen and helium, the simplest elements. They should have burned fast and bright, with no complexity. Instead, the telescope shows evidence of heavy elements and even complex molecules appearing in the very first stars. It's like finding advanced technology in the Stone Age. It just doesn't belong. But it gets even stranger. The patterns of polarization in this light, the way light waves are oriented, suggest that the photons pass through structures that shouldn't exist in empty space. It looks as though light has traveled through invisible frameworks, bending and twisting as if guided by some hidden order. Even more shocking, some of this light seems to be pulsing in regular rhythms, almost like a cosmic heartbeat. These pulses follow mathematical patterns, repeating with precision that natural processes rarely create. To some scientists, it looks suspiciously like information, almost as if the first stars were broadcasting signals across the universe. Other observations suggest that light is not just carrying messages but also behaving outside the normal rules of time. In certain cases, gravitational waves from distant events have arrived after the light that should have been triggered by them. This implies photons are somehow skipping ahead, reaching us before the events that produce them even finish. That's a direct challenge to cause and effect, one of the pillars of science. Some researchers propose that light is slipping through higher dimensions, taking shortcuts we can't see. Others wonder if this might be the universe itself trying to communicate, using its oldest messengers, photons, as carriers of hidden knowledge. Whatever the explanation, this discovery changes everything. Light, the very thing we use to understand the cosmos, may not just be a neutral messenger. It could be an active participant in the story of the universe, bending time, carrying hidden codes, and revealing mysteries far beyond what we ever imagined. When two galaxies collide, it should be one of the most violent and chaotic events in the universe. Gravity slowly pulls them together over hundreds of millions of years, stars scatter, gas clouds crash, and new star systems are born from the wreckage. That's the story scientists have trusted for decades. But the telescope has revealed galactic collisions that break every rule in the book. Instead of taking billions of years, some galaxies appear to be merging in just a fraction of that time. It's like watching a slow-motion crash suddenly speed up to fast forward. Whole structures seem to rearrange themselves with impossible efficiency, as though guided by unseen hands. What's even stranger is the precision of these mergers. Instead of random scattering, stars from different galaxies fall into neat, symmetrical patterns. Entire systems line up in ways that look designed rather than accidental. It's as if the galaxies are choreographed dancers performing a routine across cosmic space. Scientists studying these events have also found that mass and energy seem to transfer between galaxies instantly. When one loses material, the other gains the exact same amount, far too quickly for light-speed communication to explain. It's almost as if the two galaxies are directly linked, sharing information faster than physics should allow. Even more mysterious are the signals coming from these merger zones. The telescope has detected gravitational waves, ripples in space-time, that don't match the predictions of Einstein's equations. Some waves arrive early, some carry patterns that look like coded information, and others suggest the galaxies are briefly tapping into extra dimensions during their collisions. The aftermath is equally bizarre. Instead of messy, unstable leftovers, new galaxies emerge that are strangely balanced. Their shapes hold together with perfect stability, even though gravity alone shouldn't be able to maintain them. Some of these new galactic forms even show features that resemble giant structures, almost like cosmic architecture on the largest scales imaginable. The most unsettling part? These collisions don't just happen randomly. The telescope has caught multiple galaxies across vast distances merging in almost identical ways at the same time. Billions of light-years apart, yet synchronized, as though the universe itself was coordinating them. These discoveries suggest that galaxy collisions might not just be chaotic accidents. They could be part of a larger process, something organized, intentional, and maybe even intelligent, operating on a cosmic scale far beyond human imagination. So far, we've seen galaxies that grow too quickly, stars forming in impossible places, planets with strange atmospheres, and black holes that seem to break reality itself. But one of the most surprising discoveries from this telescope doesn't involve light, stars, or even galaxies. It involves entire planets drifting alone through the darkness, without a star to call home. These are called rogue planets, lonely worlds floating in the vast emptiness between star systems. Scientists used to think they were rare, formed inside solar systems and then kicked out by violent gravitational interactions. Without a sun to keep them warm, these worlds should be frozen, lifeless, and dark. But what the telescope has found is the complete opposite. Some of these rogue planets are glowing with heat and even showing signs of weather systems. One planet, drifting about 40 light-years away, is as hot as a small star, with temperatures near 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's impossible, because without nuclear fusion at its core, it should have cooled down long ago. Even stranger, these planets have thick atmospheres filled with complex chemicals. Some even contain oxygen levels suggesting processes similar to life, even though there's no sunlight to drive photosynthesis. How are these worlds sustaining themselves? The answer is still a mystery. Another shock comes from their behavior. Many of these rogue planets aren't wandering randomly. Instead, they travel in groups, holding precise formations across vast distances. It's almost as if invisible strings are pulling them into geometric patterns. Some even emit radio signals that look more like artificial transmissions than natural noise. And then there are the surface features. On some of these planets, the telescope has spotted strange geometric patterns glowing in the infrared, shapes so regular and precise they look engineered, not natural. Entire continents appear to be carved with lines and structures far too orderly to be explained by geology alone. This leads to astonishing questions. Could rogue planets be moving on purpose, like cosmic ships navigating the galaxy? Are they powered by energy sources we cannot yet understand? Or could they even be artifacts of advanced civilizations, wandering through the dark for reasons beyond our imagination? Whatever the explanation, rogue planets change how we see the universe. They prove that life and energy can exist far from any star, and they suggest that the cosmos is full of surprises still waiting to be uncovered. We've just explored galaxies that formed too early, stars born in fire, planets with impossible skies, and black holes that seem to rewrite the laws of nature. Every discovery from this telescope pushes us to ask deeper questions about reality itself. Maybe the universe is far stranger and far more alive than we ever dared to believe. What's clear is that science is only at the beginning of understanding these mysteries. And if you want more tips like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button, because the story of the cosmos is only just beginning.